Hello everyone, and welcome back once more to Red-Wolves and Ramparts. I am Reace Barnett, I'm your host and DM, and joining me once again at the table is John, Noah, Jacey, and Trey. Last time, they quickly finished off the goblins, the last two that were remaining, and set about sort of picking the bones of this shipwreck. Finding the dead bodies of the previous team that was sent here before them to find the cure that they have recently acquired. It was also revealed that Jacey's character had a little bit more to do with the whole situation than what was initially expected. So, as we all have returned back to town, and the bodies have been sent to Ray to be dealt with, the team has sort of come to the decision of visiting Chloe. Name escaped me for a second. Visiting Chloe to tell her about the recent discovery. So, that is where we left off, and that is where we will begin. As you all arrive back once more to the Academy of Little Gremlins, where Sister Lavender has sort of set up her stay. The kids are all outside in the fenced-in play area, as mentioned before, and you see that Sister Lavender is outside sort of trying to corral them all to inside of the confines of it, as a couple of them keep trying to escape through the slats of the fence, and one or two of them keep trying to push over this rock so that they can use it as a stepping stone to jump over it. And as you sort of approach, you see her turn and her face sort of light up a little bit. Ah, so you've returned. No, Stephanie, no, get back here. Sorry, I'm a little overwhelmed at the moment.
I sneak over and nudge the rock closer.
As you see her sort of turn to deal with another child, you kind of come over and you just sort of take your foot and just sort of, and you see the kids kind of look up at you and it's sort of we were doing something with that, come on! And you see one of them kind of try to push it again, but just your foot just staying in the way keeps it from going. You see just angrily stomp off.
Right.
Thank you. One second, allow me to sort of corral them inside. I'm sure that Chloe will be very excited to see you. You see, she kind of you see that she kind of takes out a small bead of some kind, like a small pearl. You see her sort of speak into it, and you see all of the students kind of perk up a little bit, and you start sort of moving their way indoors.
Recess whistle.
Yes, of sorts. It's just sort of my way of communicating to all of them all at once.
Low-level mind control, you know.
Mass suggestion.
So as she kind of shepherds them all in, you see one or two of them kind of lingering behind, and she kind of rushes back to kind of push them in. And eventually, after the corralling of cats has finished, she leaves them sort of in their large room where all of their toys and stuff are, and shuts the door and kind of... Well, it is very good to see you all. So I take it that the excursion went well?
Yes, we've got what we came for.
That's good.
We also found her compatriots.
Oh, I see. Are they largely intact?
They were stuffed in a box.
They have most their lid.
There's most of them.
I see. I assume that the funeral probably won't be very...
Well, hopefully there won't be a funeral.
What do you mean?
I know some people that may be able to handle this. So we just got to get them back to the company and back to corporate, and then hopefully we can undead them. But not that kind of undead, but realive them would be a better word.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Hopefully, yeah. It'd be expensive, but it'll be taken out of their
These are
funds.
very powerful magics that you speak of, if that's the case.
Grandpappy's pretty strong.
Well,
He's head of the department. It's got to be strong.
that's good. Then Chloe will be very glad to hear that then. Speaking of which, Why don't you all go and speak to her, and I'll go and begin sort of getting some tea on, if that's all right. And you see her like kind of rush over to one of the stove tops and gets out a tea kettle and begins setting it. And as she starts going about that, you sort of walk over to the doorway where Chloe has been set up in her room, in Sister Lavender's room. And as you sort of walk in, you see, instead of being in the bed, you see Chloe is actually down on the ground against the far wall. You see that she's sort of not really on her hands and knees per se, but sort of just like on the ground. And I need anyone who wants to make a perception check for me.
Net 20.
Are you back then? Or did you change your mind?
Well, I thought we were going to like sit for a second, but if we're not, then I'm just fine.
Alright, I mean, you can always do it tonight.
Nope.
Nope.
3.
Not important.
14.
20, the hard way.
Okay. 2 20s and a 14.
Easy way.
So Althuk is kind of busy with the thought of tea, but the three of you, as you sort of walk in, as she's kind of on the ground, you notice that she's sort of tapping at the lower parts of the wall. You see, she's sort of like, tuk, 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 and eventually you see her ears sort of perk up and she turns and sees you and she sort of just sits back and, so you're back.
Yep, what you doing?
Just inspecting the floor here.
Huh.
Sort of worried about possible. Anyways, it's not important.
No. If you're worried, I mean, tell us. We can check it out for you.
Just sort of holes in the walls. I'm not sure if you're aware, but goblins are sort of infamous for burrowing, and I just wanted to make sure there weren't any in here.
Oh, well, we killed the Goblin King.
Oh, that's good. Yes.
Where's Stibber? Where'd we leave Stibber?
It's about that moment that Stibber sort of walks in the doorway, and you see him just sort of like scratching his back. As he walks in, you see Chloe kind of stumble backwards.
I'll like usher him out. So, sorry, mate.
Hey, come on, man.
He's a Crowe employee. He's fine.
Yeah, I mentioned there's a bit of PTSD. We'll
Yeah, don't worry.
Your compatriots killed her compatriots.
Yeah, I know, I was there.
Yeah, well.
Wait a minute. She lived?
Yeah, badly, but
How?
magic.
Do you remember that, like, ape that she summoned?
No, I mean,
Or you didn't
Were
see
you
that?
sleeping then too?
no, I wasn't on guard duty then. I was in the back of the ship. You're telling me that she got away?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
What do you think happened to her?
I don't know, I just saw blood marks. I figured that some sort of animal dragged her off.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
you're not wrong.
You are correct,
yeah.
but it was her animal.
Good intuition.
So, Chloe, how are you feeling? I mean, like, physically.
And mentally, that's
Well,
important.
that's important too, but I mean, like,
I mean, ill, but I'm alive, and that's the important part.
yeah.
Did you retrieve the artifact?
Right. Yeah.
You see,
We think. I mean,
as she kind of like looks at the crown, she's like, "So it can cure diseases. Can it do anything else?"
No idea.
we're gonna figure that out in a minute.
Yeah,
I need to take some time with it.
it'd probably be better to let Fencer look at it
I've
before.
looked at a lot of stuff like this, so I
Oh, okay,
can probably.
but could it?
I mean, if it can,
Do you think that it could?
yeah. If it can, yeah,
It
yeah,
can.
yeah.
We'll see.
You
It was
see-
kind of like grown into the skull of the Goblin King, so we don't know all the adverse effects yet.
I cleaned it up with a rag. It could use some like washing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you could let me see it whenever you do.
Yeah. Right.
No,
The
no.
possibility that it may.
We did. I wanted to let you know that we did find your friend's remains.
Oh.
We brought them back to town,
Oh. Thank you.
and the department, hopefully, it's not a 100% thing, should be able to bring them back. It will take some costs and stuff like that. We'll have to get in contact with the families, set up like loans and like payment plans, but they should hopefully come back
You see her kind of like look down for a second. And, that's good. That's good.
You alright?
Yes, sorry, it's just my legs sort of are hurting.
Oh, well, I guess we should get the crown figured out sooner rather than later.
What adverse effects are you talking about?
Well, I mean, like growing into your skull and stuff doesn't seem very pleasant.
Yeah. Also, like, we don't know if. Wait, 1 second. I lean out the door. Stibber.
Yeah.
Would you describe your God King, your former boss, as mad, like a mad king?
Like upset?
No, like a crazy.
Not really. Maybe bloodlustful at once in a time, but I think that's a goblin thing.
Okay. Did you know him before the crown?
Yeah. Well, I mean, sorta. See, the thing about it is that he's been around ever since that I was born. So, but, you know, I knew him kind of before the shipwreck, if that's what you're asking.
I mean, so, like, was he pretty much the same dude before and after the crown?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more wanderlustful and conquery, but, you know, besides that, nah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if you feel invincible, like, you're not gonna...
So, it'll probably be okay. We'll just see. But
Right, well, we just gotta make sure.
these kinds of things, there's protocol, you know.
And like, if it were to be like, oh, the only way to heal you would be for it to grow into your skull and force once it, I think that it would probably involve you pulling it out of your skull at some point, which would not be good for any party involved.
I think the whole skull thing was actually more he was wearing it all the time. Like, he was wearing it for 50
Like he
years.
just didn't shower? Like,
He just never took it off.
that's easy. Alright, well, we'll check it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have 10 minutes, Chloe, we could just, like, check it. Like, if you want to go ahead and get
Could
on
you do
that.
it in here?
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Yeah, I can get on that.
Can I tell, like, what she's...
If you want to make an insight check.
Yeah, because, I don't know.
It's a bit sussy.
She's looking at that crown with eyes that I don't like.
It's a bit sussy. I have no idea.
7.
She's
I mean,
leaving this building.
She looks like she kind of wants it to fix her legs.
Do we still have the legs?
No.
Oh, dang.
No.
I feel like it'd be easier for it to fix the legs if we could just like put them back on, but I guess they're kind of already screwed. So.
They're a week old.
Yeah, but like,
Well, so are her
Magical
compatriots.
artifact.
True, but also, those are dead legs. Like,
but like
decomposed.
you're talking about Grandpappy reviving a dead body.
That's different, okay?
Bringing your life back.
Do you really want to talk to me about clerical things? Do I go to you and be like, oh yeah, this is how you get in a dungeon?
You know, no, you don't.
This
So,
is what I'm talking about. All right.
Departmental separation, right? Yeah. Okay.
That's why you have your job and I have my job. Is all I'm saying, okay? Yeah.
Pull out the urn full of salt, start sprinkling it in a little circle, and start the ritual of identification.
You see him take out parchment once more, and in a familiar sense of how you've seen him do it before, he wraps it around, and you see him put his hand on it, and ink begins to seep through. But instead of just regular writing, you see it sort of begin to keep seeping through. You see that the whole page begins to sort of get sopped in ink, and as you sort of like take it off, there's sort of a beginning writing, but the rest of it just is dripping with ink. Even still now, it seems to be producing ink afterwards. And as you sort of like begin to read it, it says, "The crown that heals all wounds, etched into eternity, and bringer of new life, owned by great kings brought before it, and also bringer of eternal kingdoms." And then there are great, and then it begins to dissolve in the ink.
So, good news. This crown can heal all wounds, and it seems to suggest you can bring the dead back to life. However, I'm missing like dripping,
Yeah.
like 4/5 of the description.
Put a vial under it to like catch ink.
Yeah.
I mean, it's expensive, you know.
Yeah, like,
Anyway,
At
do
some
you have a
point,
name
eventually,
for
you
this
see the
thing?
ink stop dropping, but like it takes like 10 minutes or so.
Don't.
So what is this like? Is it named the Crown of Eternal Kingdoms or something?
All right,
There you
that's
go.
At the
there we
top,
go
that
for the
is what
form.
it says. The Crown of Eternal Kingdoms.
Again, don't think
fencer.
that this should be like owned by a single
Or
person.
like tossed around?
Well, that's an individual's opinion, which I abstain from putting how I feel about this situation because, yeah, it is a magical artifact, and the power to the people and all that jazz. But also,
The power to
Company.
heal any wound?
what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all this.
Eh.
Coin.
Uh-huh.
Just cast identify on it.
Oh, got it.
There, as you cast it, are you casting as a ritual or just as a? Okay. You wrap it in a smaller piece of parchment this time. You cast, and it says a silvered coin. It appears to be all that it is, a common silver coin.
So is it just
So-
silver?
Hypothesis. I'm no scientist, but this is not magical at all. So it seems that the crown is weakened or can't affect, or something has to do with silver. Silver is the key to reversing whatever the crown's.
This
Turns you into a
sword's
werewolf.
seemingly made of silver.
It looks like it's silvered. Can I just run an Arcana check, just like look over it, see if there's any runes etched into it or anything
Yeah,
that
sure.
suggest it's magical?
Go on ahead.
Don't forget about the heart.
We'll get to that, yeah. That's 14.
Looking over it, there does appear to be a couple of rooms around the handle, but it's not something that seems to be anything like major. It appears to be more of something just like a magicking of it to make it like a +1 weapon.
Oh,
So it's more of this can attack like ghosts and things as opposed to just like it's a silver sword. And so it
But
appears
it is
that
also silver.
it is a silvered sword, yes. So it is sort of magical, but it's not any like potent magics. It's just runes of protection more than anything, things that just make it more effective.
Just like, I don't pick it up, it's not very strong, it's just slide it across the ground. The sword could, if I'm right about the silver thing, theoretically take out someone wearing the crown. But I don't know. There might be something I'm missing because, again, integrity.
yeah.
Here, might I cut one of you? Just not hard, but like lightly.
Wait,
Are you holding the crown currently?
yeah.
Okay, I'll just like take a non-silver weapon.
Okay.
And
So you slice it. Are you doing it across the palm?
Yeah, just do it like
yeah, it's just like on the finger.
You just
a small cut.
Yeah.
kind of just sort of give him like akin to a paper cut or just like a small
Like
sliver.
a one hit point.
Yeah. And it kind of stings, but as you're holding the crown, you feel it begin to warm up in your hand, and you see, as you look, the blood sort of reverses and goes back into your hand, and just
Oh, that is nice.
And then I'll take the great sword and do
So
the same
that
thing.
still hurts. So
yeah. As you cut it with the silver greatsword, you feel excruciating pain, and you see that as it would have been the same kind of cut, you see it open wider, and you see it just sort of
All right.
Okay.
It feels like someone's trying to just bite your finger off.
All right.
Okay, so it doesn't like silver.
Right.
This is the end of the
This
day.
is fine.
I mean,
As-
cure
yeah, we
wounds.
can give it a
Also,
C.
as you're holding the crown, you feel, instead of that warming sensation before, you feel this chill, almost like frostbite in your hand while holding the crown.
Okay. All right. Set that down for a second.
Interesting.
Cure wounds. Gonna go ahead and spend that.
Okay, so, Chloe, it looks like this could heal you as long as you're not going to come into contact with anything silver.
I mean, we still don't know if it'll grow our legs back.
We don't know that. That is true. And if it
try
did,
it.
it probably wouldn't do it very quickly. So, maybe like...
But we can try.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
If you turn evil, I can kill you. Remember that.
Oh yeah. Standard. You turn evil, we kill you contract. It's literally all you have to do is sign your name.
She just sort of
All right, good deal.
Not as close.
You see as she holds it in her hands, you see her like kind of close her eyes. You see this sort of gold sort of light begin to sort of flow through. I'm saying sort of a lot. You see this gold light begin to flow through her arms and sort of through her body, and you see as she kind of winces a little, and you look down and the scabbing at the bottom of her legs, where it was sort of imperfectly healed, begins to sort of heal over and becomes unaltered skin. You see slowly it begins to extend out a little bit. She looks down, she kind of looks at it, she goes, it's working. It's working.
Quite fast.
Yeah.
Also,
Try
that's
putting it
impressive.
on.
You see her kind of like lift it up to her head and set it, and you see as she kind of winces a little, a gold sort of line begins to etch its way down, and you see her legs begin to extend quite rapidly now. You see she looks down and, oh, gods. You see, after about 3 minutes or so, her legs have fully healed.
Well,
And she's just sort of sitting there in awe.
All right.
okay.
Pats her on the shoulder.
Yeah.
You see as you try to take it, she sort of like holds onto it.
She
Great
turns.
sword.
Hey,
Evil,
hey,
evil.
hey.
Hold on.
Come on.
Not yet. You see her toes begin to sort of split and form more. And you see that she looks over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I need to take this.
I know you do. And I'm so sorry.
No.
You see,
Breach of contract.
Can I like try and pop it off with the sword?
as you kind of like reach out
Yeah.
with the sword, you see her like turn to you with wide eyes, and suddenly she shrinks. As you like all of your gaze look down immediately, you see on the ground a small gray rat. You see, it begin to scamper to the wall.
I'm
I
gonna
get a
try to hit
chance
it.
to like, since my hand was like on the ground.
You can make an athletics check, yeah.
Okay.
How big's a red?
Would you allow me to cast guidance on myself?
It's not a New York rat.
Not. I'm gonna say this is all in an instant. This is all really quickly.
Okay. See, athletics, you said? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do it. Skills. Okay.
This is somewhat my fault. I told him to put it on. It's fine.
You know, we saw it coming.
Yeah. Evil crown.
It's
It's, yeah.
flat 14.
As you see, like, you reach out, you're holding it, you see as it, like, begins to shrink and meld into her skin, it's sort of out of your grasp, and the rat,
Can I try to?
Yep.
you can make one
Attack of opportunity.
Yeah,
Oh. Go away. It's with the greatsword, so strength. Where is it? One more. There we go. That is a non-natural 20.
okay, so roll for damage.
How much is greatsword? I should probably put that in my inventory.
I mean, to be fair, it's
You said
got the
it's
hit
plus
points
one?
of a rat right now, so.
2d6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 4. 8.
Okay, so as you see it shrink, and you see her shrink into a rat, you take your sword and you just, and as you slice, you see suddenly the rat sort of flip over on its back and writhe a little bit before reappearing back up into her.
I rip the crown off.
You try to take it off, but it is still attached.
I'm gonna fucking kill her.
No, I mean, it's in the contract.
And you see as she like kind of like lurches back. Please, you don't understand. I need this.
No, you don't.
Don't.
Look,
One opportunity.
it's this or die.
Take it off or die.
I'm sorry.
I'm
As you stab your sword forth with the great sword, you see her into gas in front of you. You try to like you slash through it, and it just sort of disperses.
Yeah, it's worth a try. Old person.
Roll for it.
No, you roll for it.
Oh right.
You roll.
Go for it.
That's a natural 20.
That sucks.
I'm sorry, everybody. Close your ears. Thing off, and I go. And I'm gonna cast Thunder Wave
There's children
into
in
the
the
gas
other room.
cloud. In the other room. In the other room. In the other room.
Okay.
This is only a 5-foot range.
It's a dexterity saving throw.
It's a con saving.
Con saving throw.
Hold on. It's.
We
yeah,
totally have to make this 2, right? How big is this room?
Right.
It's a 5-foot radius around.
That's a 19.
That's a 19. That succeeds.
I'm not fudging rolls
No,
here.
no.
I believe you.
So as you does that do a damage to the surroundings by any chance? Okay.
It's just sound.
As you hold out your relic, you see this sort of big burst, and you see the windows shatter from the loud noise, and you see the gas begin to out the windows, and you see
Sorry, Stibba.
That was loud. Goblins hearing is really sensitive.
I'm really sorry, Stibba, but you understand why we couldn't just let it get light.
All right, everybody, we're going.
Go.
Jumps out window.
So you said this is a +1 greatsword?
Yes.
Okay. Let me add that real quick.
So you all, you just,
Yeah, it's just like,
and you see that Sister Lavender kind of opens the door. What's going on?
We're gonna go!
We gotta go. Going through the window. You begin chasing throughout the city. You see as you come out, the gaseous cloud begin moving its way throughout, and you see suddenly rain coming up out of the church. And he sort of looks, it's all of you are just sort of chasing. What's going on? We gotta go.
As I'm running, I just hit myself with the cure wounds.
Okay.
How? Sorry. Never mind.
So,
I'm not gonna ask that.
as you are all racing through the streets, suddenly you notice something. Something that definitely wasn't there before. As you are running through the streets, you're chasing this gaseous cloud. As you hit around one of the corners of the buildings, you look down to the docks. A ship is waiting there. And you see the cloud begin moving its way down there.
Gonna burn the ship.
We gotta get to that ship, come on.
As you were chasing down the cloud, there was no ruckus in the streets. There's no people talking about new shipments. Where did it come from? The ship just seems to have manifested. It wasn't here before you guys went into that building. And as you run down the dock, still chasing after it, you see Chloe manifest out of the gaseous cloud. And just
How far away is she?
She's about 20 feet away from you.
Breath weapon.
Okay.
She needs to make a dex save. And half damage on the.
That's a 2.
Okay. So she takes
was my last
2d6.
second level.
4,
I got 2 first level.
6, 10 damage. 10 lightning damage.
As she's running, you just trace a line of lightning. You see her just. She just keeps grinning through it, just keeps running. And then you see, as you hit the docks, she runs up. You see her just stop and turn around.
Guiding bolt.
Plot is occurring right now. I got you. I'm going to. I've given you guys.
I'll let you do the monologue, but I want to hit her
I've
afterwards.
given you guys plenty of opportunities to stop her, and so I'm going to say that this is going to be a plot moment.
Okay.
So, as you finally reach down to the docks, and you get there, you see her turn around, and you see her just sort of with a worried look on her face. I'm sorry. It's what I had to do. And then suddenly, manifesting behind her, a shadowy form begins to rise up out of the ground. A long, wide-brimmed hat and a long sword at its waist, dressed in a dark black cloak. You see it rise up, and then a face peers out from underneath it. And a grizzled old voice that you had heard once before speaks out from the brim of the hat. You have done well, Chloe Silvermoon. You will be aptly rewarded for your loyalty to Crowe. Now,
Randy.
you see the hat look up, and the old face of Randall stand before you,
No.
looking across at the four of you. Now, the crown. You see her struggle to remove it at first, but then blood seeping from her brow. She removes it, slowly hands it over to Randall. You see him take it in his hands and look at all four of you. He removes the sword. Now, you all die. You see Chloe kind of turn around and with a worried expression. No, this wasn't part of the deal. You weren't supposed to kill them. You were just supposed to... You were just supposed to take me and my friends home. No, you misunderstand me. You all die. And with that, he runs his blade through Chloe's stomach. You see her... And you see suddenly this hole begin to massively open inside of her. No organs or anything displaying, just dust beginning to fall out of her. You see her just collapse to the ground. I'm sorry. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. And you see her just into dust on the ground. You see the hat look across to each of you. Lay down your arms and flee if you wish, or take up your arms and die just the same. So says the hand of the Crow. And with that, we're going to end today's session.
Oh.
Thank you all for tuning in. We'll pick this back up next time. I've been Reace. This is my group of astonished players. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.